Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hello, and if you've been here before, then welcome back. As you can see from today's title, this is going to be my third trimester Q&A. I am so excited to do this one just because a lot of you had quite a lot of questions about different things during the third trimester, and I know everyone's pregnancies are completely different and some people experience things that others didn't, so it's just nice to share and answer some questions that you guys have had for me. So I did post up a questions box on Instagram for you guys to send in your questions, and a lot of you did, which I am so grateful for. Thank you very much. And if you want to obviously take part in any other sort of polls or questions over on my Instagram, then please do follow me. I will put my Instagram down at the bottom somewhere, so please do go head over there and click that follow. That would mean so much. But other than that, we're going to get straight into the video. So the first question is, have you packed your hospital bag? So I believe that baby's hospital bag video has already gone up, so that is a yes. And I have actually already packed my hospital bag. I actually packed that about 2 weeks ago. I am well prepared. Baby's bag was done in the second trimester just because I have to make sure that I'm prepared due to a early labour last time. Obviously not guaranteed that it's going to happen again, but I was told to prepare, so that's what I did. So answer to that question, yes, and the video will be up either before this one or at some point after, but yes, bag is packed. Question 2, do you still have sickness? Also can't wait to meet her. So obviously during my first trimester I had awful morning sickness and sickness in general. Second trimester it eased off, felt amazing, and I've started to notice as I'm getting further into my final trimester and into the final weeks of pregnancy, I find I get quite nauseous during the evening, or if I wake up in the middle of the night, whether that's just to go for a wee or obviously because I'm uncomfortable or she's kicking me and she's woken me up, I do start to feel quite sick. So the answer to that is yes. I mean, it's not all the time, it's not very often, but I have started to notice that there is times where I do start to feel a little bit icky again, but I've been told that's pretty normal in the third trimester. Why, I don't know, but that's just what people have said. They said it can be quite normal. Some people experience that in their final trimester, so answer to that is yes, sometimes. Question 3, how are you really feeling about being in the final stages of pregnancy? I am actually feeling pretty good. I have said this quite a few times, but my second trimester was probably the hardest for me just because I was in pain all the time. I had pain in my belly that I never thought was even possible. Hips, legs, feet, back. It was just horrendous. I was experiencing really bad pressure, pains just going on, and things that I'd never felt before like going on. So when I actually hit my third trimester, I was thinking it's only going to get worse from here. And in actual fact, touch wood, I have actually been feeling a lot better than what I have done throughout the rest of my pregnancy, which is quite the opposite. A lot of people tend to feel a lot worse coming into their third trimester, and like their second was like their whole glowing stage, and that just wasn't the case for me. But touch wood, I've been feeling great, minus a couple of aches and pains and sort of like a heavy feeling in my belly sometimes when I walk, not all the time. I have actually been feeling great, and yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty good heading into the final stage. It could all go downhill from now, who knows, but yeah, I am actually feeling pretty good about my third trimester and the final stages. Question 4, which is kind of linked to the one before, I guess, is, are you nervous about labour? I wouldn't say I'm nervous about the actual labour. I'd say it's hard to explain. Like, I would say I'm a little bit nervous just because I know what's coming, and I'm a little bit nervous in the fact that my first labour wasn't completely and fully plain sailing, and obviously you do have that added worry of whether things are going to go smoothly or whether they're not. And obviously with coronavirus, obviously hospital policies are slightly different, and I'm sort of worrying about the fact that if James tests positive, then he's not going to be able to be there, and that would absolutely break my heart if he couldn't be there. That would just completely break me. I have my mum on standby, but in regards to actual labour, I'm not like really nervous about it. Obviously, like I said, there's a little bit of nervousness in the case of, obviously I don't know how it's going to go, and obviously then the added anxiety of being tested for coronavirus and things like that. We are trying to be as safe as we can, and as our due date approaches, we are sort of trying to minimise how much we're about other people and how often we go out. But no, I wouldn't say I'm hugely nervous about the actual labour itself. Question 5. Has your body started to change a lot during the final stages? Again, touch wood. I'm touching my head because that's the closest thing to wood, even though there's like wood behind me, so touch wood. I have been quite lucky in the fact that the only changes that I've had leading up to my final trimester, and obviously being in my final trimester, is weight gain. A lot of you can probably tell I've obviously put on weight in my face. You can see it in my arms, and I'm starting to see it in my legs as well. But because my body has somewhat already housed a previous child, so far my body has coped really well. I've got no, again, touch wood, I've got no new stretch marks or anything like that. Obviously I've still got another 9 weeks of growing her, so she could have like a massive growth spurt towards the end, and then that could obviously create changes again to my body. Your body does always change. Obviously your boobs get bigger, they get heavier, obviously you gain weight, stretch marks. There's so much that changes during pregnancy, and it's amazing what our bodies can do to grow another human being. But I have been very lucky in the fact that I've actually only put on about a stone during this pregnancy, maybe a little bit more. Obviously I wasn't the skinniest of people when I got pregnant, but obviously I was at a healthy weight, and I am lucky in the fact that I have only gained just over a stone. Like I said, that could all change. I still have 9 weeks left to go, so I could put on more weight, I could get more stretch marks, you know, anything can happen. So I wouldn't say a lot has changed in my 3rd trimester apart from weight gain, which is pretty normal. It's a normal thing during pregnancy. Question 6. So this is kind of like more of a general question, and probably not just based on the 3rd trimester, but it is, how has lockdown affected your pregnancy? It has affected it a lot, I would say, just because we haven't been able to see family and friends, so I haven't been able to share it properly with them. Obviously, again, with coronavirus and lockdown, during a normal time, your partner would have been able to attend every appointment if they wished, even if it was just a blood test. They were able to attend every scan. We were lucky in the sense that James was able to attend all the scans, that's fine. But obviously just normal standard antenatal appointments and midwife appointments, he wasn't allowed to attend. It was just, if you can, come on your own. So it kind of affected the whole experience for him. And with it being his first child, he has missed out on a lot, which is such a shame. And I know so many other people that, you know, actually went through pregnancy during the original first lockdown, and their partners weren't even allowed into the scans, and they weren't even allowed to be there for the birth of their babies. So I can't really moan too much about it, but it has definitely affected being able to share my pregnancy with everyone. Question 7. Are you getting uncomfortable? So again, this refers back to one of the previous questions. I was actually probably more uncomfortable in my second trimester than I am now, which seems bizarre. I still get uncomfortable in the evenings. I have never really had the uncomfortableness of her sitting too high, because she is actually sat quite low. She has been head down since about 28 weeks. So I sort of haven't had all that sort of build up of like shortness of breath, feeling out of breath, like just the standard pregnancy, and just feeling really uncomfortable. Obviously come the evening time, I do start to feel uncomfortable because everything that I've eaten during the day, or the walking, obviously you get water retention, you obviously get a little bit of swelling, normal pregnancy swelling. That all makes you feel uncomfortable because you're just sat doing nothing. So apart from that, I haven't been like majorly uncomfortable during my third trimester as such, apart from the evenings. Sometimes, not always. Some evenings I'm fine, other evenings are worse than others. It's getting quite cramped in there sometimes when she's moving around and she kicks in a certain place. That can actually be quite uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. But yeah, I wouldn't say I've got any major uncomfortableness right now. Again, that could change, who knows. Question 8 is, any symptoms that you didn't know about going into your third trimester? So one of the major ones that I'd probably say that I was aware of, but I wasn't expecting it till a lot later on in the third trimester, sort of like the final weeks, is the amount of pressure that goes on down there, the swollenness that goes on down there, obviously because of the pressure. Constipation, yeah, that's kind of been the worst thing for me during the final trimester. Being stuffy, you guys would know that in my first trimester I had pregnancy congestion. I then contracted COVID, obviously before anyone says, oh well, your congestion must have been COVID. It wasn't. I actually got pregnancy congestion from about 8 weeks pregnant right through till about 18 weeks, 19 weeks, around about that mark. And then a week later, when it started to get a little bit better but still stuffy, like my sinuses were blocked, I then contracted COVID during my second trimester. And then after that it completely cleared up, like it just completely disappeared for the whole of my second trimester. And now that we've hit the third trimester, I mean I've been in the third trimester for a couple of weeks now, it has come back. So I wasn't aware of pregnancy congestion to last this long through pregnancy, or for it to come and go like it has. But that is another symptom that I wasn't aware of. Another symptom, I don't know whether it's just me or if anyone else has experienced this, but I have experienced a very itchy roof of my mouth and throat. So it only seems to be in the evening time. During the day, not a problem. In the evening, trying to sleep, I get a really itchy throat and roof of my mouth, which I don't even know if it's related to pregnancy or whether it's just me. I have no idea, but I've only experienced it during my third trimester. So that is another one that I didn't even know was a thing. If anyone else has had any weird symptoms or experienced any third trimester symptoms that they didn't know about, obviously do let me know down below. I'd like to hear all yours. Have you decided on a place of birth? So obviously I want to go to my nearest hospital. I'd rather be in a hospital environment, obviously due to my previous pregnancy, which I keep going back to. I have actually found out that if I go full term, so if I go right up until 37 weeks, I am allowed on the birth unit, and obviously if I decide that that's where I want to be, then that's where I can go. Obviously if I do come early, then I will have to be on the delivery unit, which is also fine. I haven't decided fully on whether I want to go on the birthing unit. I would love to, because I would love to have a water birth, which is what I planned for my first pregnancy, but obviously that wasn't an option for me, and just be in a slightly more calmer setting. However, if things need to be done, I don't know whether it will be easier to be on the delivery unit, so then they have everyone there that needs to be there, because obviously up on the birth unit you're sort of just left to your own devices, and obviously when baby's ready to come, there's obviously a midwife there to assist baby, whereas sort of delivery, they check on you, make sure everything's going fine, and obviously if things don't work out the way that they're supposed to, then there's people there to help right away. So I haven't quite decided where I want to be. I still need to speak to my midwife about a couple of things, and then I will make my decision then. But I know that I don't want a home birth. I'm not sure even whether I will be allowed a home birth. That's just not something I've thought about. I just prefer the thought of being in a hospital environment, for the fact that obviously if anything does go wrong, I am already in the hospital and I don't have to be blue lighted from home to hospital if, you know, things don't go the way that they're supposed to, basically. The answer to that question is no, I haven't decided on where I want to give birth yet. Sort of leading into that question, someone asked, have you done your birth plan? And simple fact, no. I'm not doing a birth plan as such, just because it doesn't necessarily go that way at all. I didn't even get round to sorting my birth plan with my first. All I knew that was I wanted to be on the birth unit and I wanted a water birth, and obviously I couldn't get that. Nothing like that. It just didn't go my way. I was disappointed and I was really, really upset that I couldn't do that and I couldn't have what I had planned. So this time round, I'm only writing down the important things that I would like to happen during my birth, just because I don't want to be disappointed if it doesn't go the way that I want it to. So in regards to my birth plan, if that's what you want to call it, I am gonna do a whole separate video on my birth plan, what I've put on it and stuff like that. But depending on obviously where I give birth, that doesn't really matter. I don't want to get my hopes up for that. Obviously if I can go on the birth unit, great, that's amazing, and have a water birth, you know, that's perfect. If not, and I end up deciding that I want to be on the delivery unit, then so be it. However, there is a couple of things that I would like doctors, midwives and things to take into consideration. So as long as it's plain, well, not plain sailing, but as long as obviously we go till full term and obviously everything's okay during delivery, I would like delayed cord clamping. I'm pretty sure that they do actually delay it by 1 or 2 minutes, but they say they get a better benefit if it's between 5 and 7, and this is something I've considered. If it's okay to do so and baby is fine, baby is safe, I'm okay and all that, then I would like to delay the cord clamp. This just gives time for all the blood from the placenta to run back to the baby. I think they get like between 80-90% of their blood volume with obviously delayed cord clamping. Obviously if for whatever reason that can't be done and they have to do it within a minute, that's okay. It doesn't, there isn't anything harmful about that, but I would just rather they delay that for between 5 and 7 minutes before they decide to clamp and cut. Obviously I want James to cut the cord if he feels like he wants to. I did say he'd probably regret it if he didn't, because obviously that's like it's not necessarily a once in a lifetime thing, but obviously it is an experience in itself. I would also like to have gas and air only, if I can. I don't want a epidural unless I absolutely have to and it's an emergency. So if I start screaming I need something more, I want an epidural, I do not, that's not what I want. I would only like gas and air. Obviously don't want a C-section. Again, it's down to personal preference. Some people do decide to have an elected C-section, which is fine. Obviously some people decide to have a natural birth if they can, and that's fine. For me, a C-section is literally for an emergency only. That is the only time that obviously I would consider a C-section, and an epidural is if I absolutely had to. Also, again, if it's safe to do so, and again, both myself and baby are fine, I would like to do the whole golden hour, which is obviously skin to skin with baby for an hour after they are born. This just helps with the whole bonding and all that. I didn't get to do that the first time round with Summer, so obviously if we do make it and everything is okay, then I would like to do that. And the same for James, I would like for him to also have skin on skin contact. But in regards to anything else, I am not really planning because I don't want to get disappointed if there's things that can't happen. So I haven't specifically put that I want to water birth and I want to be on the birthing unit and I want to have music and I just want it to be me and James, and you know, just in case that can't happen and I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. I'd rather just be like, this is like the medical things that I want and the things that I want to happen after. If everything's okay and I'm okay, that's it. But in regards to like all the rest of it, me personally, I'm not bothered, just because I don't want to be disappointed with the outcome if it's not what I want, if that makes sense. I feel like I completely rambled on there. But yeah, so the answer to that is yes, I somewhat have done my birth plan, sort of haven't, if that makes sense. What's been the easiest thing about your third trimester? Actually sleeping. I am actually sleeping pretty much a full night's sleep and I'm only waking up once, whether that be to go for a wee or my leg's gone dead, so I've just got to like shift myself a little bit. But apart from that, sleep in my third trimester has been one of the easiest things at the moment, which is great. And then moving on to the final question, which is kind of linked but is the opposite. What has been the hardest part of your third trimester? I'd probably say the hardest part of my third trimester would be, so this is quite tricky because I know I keep saying this, obviously I've still got quite a way to go in essence, so obviously things could change. But I'd say the hardest part about my third trimester is the amount of issues that we've had in regards to baby. Everything's been fine, but the worry in your third trimester is a lot more. We've had a lot more issues in regards to her movements and her heart rate, and the thought of going into labour at any point has probably been the hardest part, just because every ache or pain or different pain that I haven't felt or haven't prepared for, not that you can prepare for any sort of pain. I mean, you can tell yourself so many times that, oh, if you get this pain, it's probably just this. But yeah, I'd say the hardest part of my third trimester is the hospital visits that we've had, the worry that we've had, and the constant overthinking of that if something's happening with your body that you haven't experienced before, you're like, am I going into labour? We don't want that to happen. So I'd probably say the anxiety in my third trimester. So that is all the questions. That is going to go ahead and conclude today's Q&A. I do hope that you did enjoy it and that it's answered some of the questions that you may have wanted to know. I absolutely love watching these and just finding out about other people's experiences during their journey of pregnancy and what their plans are and how they feel. So I really do hope that you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, again, please do smash the thumbs up and also click the subscribe button down below. And also do go head over to Instagram and go follow me. I will pop my username, @name, down on the screen somewhere so that you can keep up to date with obviously pregnancy content, other content when she's here, and everyday content as well. I'm still trying to include everyday content where I can. Obviously at the moment pregnancy is my life, we are in lockdown, I cannot go anywhere, so it is literally just pregnancy updates. I know not everyone is into that, but that is okay. I do try and post normal content over on my Instagram, and obviously if you want to take part in polls and Q&As like this, then that's where you can take part also. But other than that, I'm going to stop rambling and I will see you guys in a brand new video very, very soon. Bye.